Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a hidden world that exists right under our noses, maybe even right in your own backyard. The absolutely fascinating and honestly highly misunderstood social ecology of community cats. You might see them darting under a porch or lounging near a dumpster and just assume it's a random group of strays doing their own thing. But actually, scratch that. It's a highly sophisticated, resource-driven society with its own strict rules, invisible boundaries, and complex communication networks. Let's decode this feline social web together.
Okay, let's dive into this. When you picture a group of alley cats, what comes to mind? A lot of us instinctively picture a tough, battle-scarred male cat calling all the shots, right? We imagine this furry mob boss running a tiny, chaotic empire. But who actually rules the neighborhood cat colony? Prepare to have your preconceived notions completely challenged, because the actual science tells a very different and, frankly, much more fascinating story.
Section 1, the alpha tomcat myth.
For the longest time, this whole alpha tom myth really dominated our understanding. We just assumed feral cats lived in this rigid hierarchy, ruled by a permanent male despot who controlled everything, from the food to the territory, by sheer brute force. But the reality? It's completely different. As you can see, free-ranging domestic cats actually form social structures that are highly flexible, completely driven by available resources, and anchored by a matrilineal core. They aren't tiny dictatorships at all. They're incredibly complex ecological systems.
Section 2. Food and matrilineal cores.
So the crucial point is that community cat colonies don't just happen randomly. We really have to look at this from the bottom up. They form when food resources are clumped together and predictable. Think of a reliable feeder, a poorly secured dumpster, or a barn rich in rodents. Once that food anchor is established, the actual foundation of the colony is built by related female kin clusters. Yep, the durable, long-lasting social core of the group is made up of mothers, daughters, and sisters. They engage in cooperative kitten care, creating a nursery-centered cohesion. And the adult males? Well, they might be residents or transients just hanging at the margins. But the true social glue holding the whole shebang together is the female lineage.
Section 3. Overlapping micro-territory maps. Colony boundaries are ecological gradients around resources, not property lines on a zoning map. I absolutely love this quote from the research because it forces us to stop thinking like humans. Cats don't draw hard borders or build fences. Instead, they physically map out their environment by establishing overlapping nodes. They create specific travel corridors, safe resting spots, and crucial scent posts based almost entirely on where the food is. It's a fluid gradient of high-use and low-use zones, which means multiple cats from different groups might actually share the exact same physical space, just at completely different times of the day. Section 4. Context-specific feeding rights.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the incredible irony in how cats negotiate dominance. You see, dominance in the feline world is not some laminated, permanent rank list. It's highly fluid. Away from the food, say in a neutral resting area, an adult male might hold the top rank and command the space. But bring food into the equation, and the entire hierarchy flips on its head. Right at the food bowl, females and even tiny kittens frequently rise to the very top. It's an amazing system where a tough, battle-tested tomcat will literally wait his turn behind a nursing mom or a kitten to eat. The hierarchy completely depends on the context of the resources. 30 minutes. That is the magic number when it comes to observing all of this in the real world. Providing food on a strict 30-minute daily schedule isn't just about keeping the area clean or keeping wildlife away, though that's important. It actually helps human caretakers safely observe the specific feeding hierarchies we just talked about. When the cats arrive on a predictable schedule, you get a daily window into their social ecology. You can watch who eats first, track the family lineages, do a quick head count, and easily monitor the overall health of the colony.
Section 5. The feline scent network. A Tom spraying a wall is not forgetting his litter manners. He is posting chemical paperwork. This is absolutely crucial to reframe. When an unneutered male cat sprays pungent urine on a porch, we instantly think of it as random vandalism. But biologically, it's a highly sophisticated system of environmental communication. It's an invisible olfactory web that allows them to maintain this complex spatial balance without constantly fighting. Think of this chemical paperwork like different types of social media updates for the feline world. First, you've got urine spraying. This persists on vertical surfaces and broadcasts territory ownership and reproductive status. It's basically a pinned announcement on their timeline. Then there's interdigital scratching. When they scratch a tree, they leave a visual mark plus a chemical signal from their paws. Perioral rubbing, when they rub their cheeks on things, leaves glandular odors that signal familiarity. And finally, anal sac odors leave incredibly specific, unique chemical signatures that act like an individual profile ID. Together, this network tells every cat in the neighborhood exactly who has been where and when, heavily reducing the need for actual physical conflict.
And there is some intense chemistry behind that famous tomcat smell. Intact males produce high levels of compounds called caudine and feline. These biochemical pathways are directly upregulated by testosterone. So to put that into perspective, it's the testosterone that makes an intact male's spray so incredibly pungent and allows it to essentially glue itself to vertical surfaces. That chemistry ensures their specific chemical paperwork is potently readable to rivals and mates for a really, really long time.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Section 6, the TNR paradigm shift.
When a colony undergoes Trap-Neuter-Return, or TNR, we see this fascinating biological sequence unfold. Step 1. Sterilization immediately drops those intense hormone levels we just talked about, cutting off the testosterone. Step 2, without those hormones, the massive roaming, midnight howling, and pungent spraying rapidly decline within just weeks. But Step 3 is where the real magic happens. The social hierarchy remains stable but peaceful. Neutering basically turns down the volume on the biological noise. It eliminates the screaming and fighting while keeping that resource-mediated rulebook perfectly intact. The effectiveness is just night and day. Unneutered behavior brings violent fights, huge roaming distances, and pungent marking. Neutered behavior gives us quiet, localized groups with standard feline odors. And the biggest takeaway here is the vacuum effect. If you simply remove cats from an area, new unneutered cats will instantly migrate in to fill that empty space. But by using TNR and returning the sterilized cats to their home, you're leveraging their natural territorial instincts. They act as a biological shield against newcomers, permanently stabilizing the neighborhood. Of course, to support that biological shield, human intervention is key. Providing strategic resources, like a sturdy, insulated winter shelter raised off the ground, really anchors the cats to a specific micro-territory. It prevents the vacuum effect from happening. When caretakers provide dedicated shelter and a reliable food source, it stops the cats from wandering into places they aren't wanted, allowing human neighbors and feline colonies to peacefully and happily coexist. So, we've decoded the matrilineal core, those fascinating context-specific feeding rates, the incredibly complex chemical paperwork of their scent network, and the stabilizing power of Trap-Neuter-Return. It's a massive, intricate world happening right under our noses. So, I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder. How does understanding this invisible social ecology change the way you view the cats in your own backyard? Next time you see a community cat, you won't just see a stray. You'll see a vital member of a complex, resilient society. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep your eyes open and keep learning.